Please, we have enough leases. We don't need.
I think we've got 3 of them.
You all get.
Well, at one time there were 6. Yeah, that's how I got LJ.
Actually,
But I mean, the forms and stuff, you still need those electronically.
yeah, but as far as, I'll go get it really fast. I brought what I needed today.
Hi, everybody.
Somebody always comes through with their head gets right in front of me. And then I'm like hugging that window or hanging in the aisle.
Hi, Lakeisha. I thought you should say there were warning. Now it says there is a waiting room. Hi, everybody. Well. I can't see everybody, but okay. Lakeisha, can you hear me? Okay. So I'm Lisa Johnson. I've been an agent here for a long time. So before I was an agent by myself, I was an assistant, an admin for one of the agents in our office, and I did that for 9 years. So I was primarily did her dot loop, MLS. I did a lot of stuff, but this was my job, was to enter listings. So it has changed some, but anyway. So does anybody have a listing they're gonna need to put in?
I have a listing that's going active today, so you can look over it. I'm just waiting on the pictures.
I was wanting to do one that we actually
Oh, yeah,
put
gotcha.
in, but yeah, so last time I did one that I have coming, possibly it's still not active, but and it may not go active. They may sell it to somebody privately. Lakeisha, you unmuted. Did you have something to say?
We can't hear it.
I know you're not mute. Okay, I say, but I can't hear you. So, okay. So if you were going to put in a listing, it's just really simple. So up at the top, once you log into Paragon. So, and I will say, you know, I'm a beach girl. I love the summertime.
That's what mine is too.
So, but you know, you can change this. So they have all sorts of seasonal ones. So if you want to do that, it's fun sometimes. I'm kind of bad. I get it up there and I just leave it. So, but so you're going to go up to listings, and then you have options like over here is your maintain. So you would maintain your listings once you have one. You would go in here, and this is the only active one I have currently, but I have some under that are under contract, so they would show up when you change it to pending. So that's just kind of telling you where it is. If you needed to partials, we'll talk about those later. But if you need to add a listing, it just depends on what type you need to add. If you're going to add residential, land, multifamily, commercial, rental, or commercial lease. And I will say those are all different. I'm guessing that everybody's probably primarily residential. Okay. For the most part, that's what I do, but I do occasionally do land and lots, and I have some land. Whole different ball game about what it wants and how you fill it out. So, But so let's just go to residential. We're gonna add a listing. Let's see, I have an address of some.
On this, can you like do, like if you're playing with it, can you put one in and then just keep it as a partial, and can you ever cancel it?
She asked if you can put it in as a partial. Yes, you can. You can never really cancel it.
Just keep it, it would just. stay
Yeah,
as a
so if
partial.
you go up here and that drives me, that's just one of those things. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So over here on partials, see these partials? I don't know why this one's here. This one actually went active at one point. I don't know. That was a rental. This one, I have no idea. It was put in 2018. They like never disappear. You know, you can't, and there's not an option to delete it. So it just hangs out there forever, which is a little bit frustrating. So you're going to start seeing more of those as I teach this class more often, and we'll see those. Angela, you were here for the last time I taught it, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I was trying to do one that would be different, maybe, instead of going back to that one. So I was trying to look up, I have somebody that called me. I'm going to go out and look at his house to possibly list it. So I was going to pull up that address. It will be a little bit different in that it is not in Madison County. So if you play around with Madison County, when you go up here to the tax records, it's awesome because you can get everything. So, and Angela, you talked about doing autofill, right? From the tax records, having an autofill?
I don't think so.
Somebody did,
But
but
my house is in Morgan County, and I'm hoping I have it filled out right.
I don't worry so much about filling it out wrong as it's just a little harder to find the information when you're not in Madison County.
Okay.
So generally, I don't really have a way unless you want me to log in as you and we can walk through it.
You can.
Okay. So I think we're gonna do that. Y'all okay with that? Okay. So I'm gonna log out of mine and I'll let Angela log in. No. Okay, that's not working. Not my thing here, Peter. Okay. No.
I have a land contract too. So,
Okay, so I'm logging out and I'm gonna let Angela come over here and log back in. Usually there's an option. Yeah, so I'll do it. Okay, and I'll let you type the stuff in so you can log back in. And then we'll kind of walk through it.
that's been in here for a long time.
Okay, well, in case nobody noticed, we're having maintenance on tomorrow morning.
It's been up there for some.
I'm like, and I don't know how to get rid of it. Close it doesn't work. And save for later.
Yeah, it just keeps, every time you sign in, it reminds me.
Yeah, so like, at all. So,
Or it's under a partial.
okay, so we're gonna look at Angela's partial listing and kind of walk through and see what it looks like. So, we're just gonna select it and maintain partial. So just like if you were entering a listing, this is what would come up and you would just be filling in the blanks. If there's a red R box, it's required before it can go active. So you don't have a picture yet. Morgan County, and you got the parcel number. So to get parcel numbers, you just go over here, go to the taxes at the top. Is this the way you do it? I was looking to see if there's another way.
I think so, and I think I just put in Boys Ranch Road, or I may have put in 102.
Okay, Every county is a little bit different. And what was the,
Boys Ranch Road.
I know on Madison County,
There it is.
putting in road sometimes
Mhm.
will kick it out.
Lessons done.
Yeah, so less is better. If you put RD, it might work. Okay, so there it is. So she just literally copied that parcel number right there. But if you click on it, then it opens it up and gives you lots more information about it. So this is her parcel number that she used to fill in Paragon right there. Did it accept it that way?
Just copying and pasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know for a while it was a certain, you had to put dashes in there and dots. And so, because that one doesn't have dashes, I was like, I'm not sure. Anyway, just ask me. But I used to have a cheat sheet. It's like 3 numbers, a dash, 2 dash. I'm like, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so. It will assign you a temporary number once you do save a partial. Okay, so that's where that number comes from. Otherwise, like if it's an active listing, it won't say temporary. It'll just be a true MLS number. Her listing date is here. So you can go in and select a date. Kind of funny because it usually won't let you put one in the future, or it didn't, unless they've changed that this week, which I know they changed with coming soon. Some of that has changed.
What do you mean they won't let you put it in the future? Because most people aren't gonna put their house on the market the day you're there listing it.
But it used to require you to put this date, today's date. It wouldn't let you save it if it was a date in the future. So Angela was asking about that. Why wouldn't it? It wouldn't, but before you hit active, like she made this a partial, we used to have something called a provisional. It would ask you, be sure this is the date you want in there on listing date. So you could go in and change it. So what if you put it in partial, like that one I did was last month? Well, so I had to put the date in for last month. Well, this is a whole month later. I don't want the market date to start, the days on market to start 30 days ago. So I could go in and manually change it before it goes active. So, and if you do like here, I'm just gonna, you said you didn't do a coming soon one.
Mhm.
If you do coming soon, it automatically pops up an expected date on market. So our date on market has to be within 5 days of when it goes coming soon. And that's a change. It didn't used to be that way.
Do you put signs out during those 5 days?
You just put coming soon up there on it. The big thing now is on an MLS sheet, when you look at it, at the top of the page, now, right up here at the top, under the active on a coming soon, it would say expected date on market. And so you would know what day. You used to have to put that in, but it didn't show up anywhere. So it's nice that it actually does show up now. So we have something to go with. So I'm going to change that back to partial.
Well, actual, partial.
That's not.
Well, I guess active, and then when we save it as
Yeah.
partial.
Yeah, so we'll save it as a partial. Okay. So typically list date today and the expiration date is 6 months from today. So that's just our normal. It used to, when we did the coming soons, could be up to 30 days. You might put a little extra in there because it wasn't actually going to go active for a little while. So, but that's our standard is 6 months. And here you have the option for sale or rent. I don't imagine any of you are doing property management, so it'll be for sale. Now, this is locational information, kind of basic. Is it zone commercial? Yes or no? If you click on these little boxes, you know, it gives you the option to drop down of what your choices are. Type in your address. Usually when you start typing the road, it'll start auto-populating. So that's nice. What city you're in, Is it in the city limits? It is not.
Correct.
Okay, and your state and your zip code. I was just thinking it almost ought to auto-populate the state, but anyway.
I know, right?
Seems like it. This is a big thing, is to validate on a map where it is. So, occasionally people don't do that, and it'll, people do a search, do a map search or something, and somebody won't have put it in, and so it won't show up. So, or somebody's looking for directions or want to know, and sometimes people want to know very specifically, maybe they want to know what it backs up to, or how close it is to this road, or whatever. So do take the time to go in and map it and make sure it's accurate. I assume you did. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And then it asks for subdivisions. If it's not in the subdivision, it's meets and bounds. And y'all are probably all smarter than me. When I started, I'm like, what does that mean? So that just means it isn't in a neighborhood, basically. Because it's not in a neighborhood, there's not a lot, there's not a block. Okay.
I know I was gonna ask, what does sub area mean?
So used to, years ago, we had, they broke down all of our MLS into areas like Northwest, Southwest, and everything. So it's kind of a holdover from that. Nobody uses that anymore. And really, when you think about it, neighborhood, I mean, isn't that, we think of that as our subdivisions.
Yeah.
So I never see anything on the neighborhoods, and I haven't seen sub areas used in probably 5 years or more. So you went to the tax records and you just copied the description. So that's a weird description. The way it starts like
Yeah,
that.
maybe
I'm gonna go back and look at that.
maybe I copied a little too much.
So we're. Description on that.
I think I had to go to the other maps.
Are you on? That was the summary. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Commence, and so click on all these and see, like, here's your map. Sometimes there's nothing there. So I would like this. This is nice that it already says how much, what your acreage is.
Yeah, but that's not right. Isn't that crazy? It's 8.1.
Awesome.
You know what the courthouse told me?
What?
It's roundabout.
Close enough for government.
I said, well, I want to advertise it as 8 acres, but I want it to be correct. And he goes, well, it's just roundabout. But he has the deed and a survey that says 8.1. I go, are you kidding me? Is it just a roundabout number?
See, I was gonna say, if you had the actual measurements to put those on as well. It doesn't, but you might, let's see if you can measure it.
I know there's a toll, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, I would have to play around a little bit more to see. Some of them actually give you, like, see, that one gives you a distance on it.
Yeah.
On this one,
This one does not.
and some of them do. And the reason I was saying that is it is important to put acreage and lot size. Some people search by acreage, so if you don't fill it in, it doesn't populate and they won't see it. But it's nice to have the lot size as well, so people can at least calculate it. Like, especially if there's a discrepancy, if you put that lot size in, somebody can calculate it and figure out exactly how much they.
Could you change that to 8.1 for me? Because I guess I forgot to get back there.
Oops. Yeah. Okay. So do try to go back and get the lot size if you can. We'll just play around with it. This is interesting. It shows neighborhood sales. So theoretically, it would show you if
There's
anything.
like no, we went through this yesterday, there's like no comps.
Yeah, I'm like,
It has been a real challenge to come up with a price, and I'm nervous wreck of what's gonna happen today and this weekend.
so what did you list it at for?
489,
Which makes it.
it's almost 4,000 square feet. 3-car detached, 2-car
Yeah.
attached, 8 acres, 5-bedroom. The land was gorgeous,
So-
absolutely beautiful.
Obviously, it's.
Got a pond.
Just thinking there a long time. So you said Morgan County, I was gonna try to zoom out, and see if I can see more about where it is. But, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go on to something else, because that's not, no images. This will tell you if it's been sold, who's paid the taxes, the ownership. You know, so it's been the same person for
Forever, he built it.
at least, yeah, 22 years. So, this kind of gives you the buildings, but I don't know, Morgan County and Madison County don't count on the square footage being accurate, so.
No, because this one had, what, 1,600 or something?
This is.
They were looking at it yesterday.
Detached there.
I had to have a certified.
2291 square feet. Yeah. So, yeah, don't go by their stuff at all. And here's the land, and that's where we had the description of it. So here was a quick summary of it. So if you look up here, so even on their tax records, I think this is interesting to me. This is their quick summary, 0 acres. Really?
Well, they've only paid like $700 in taxes. It's crazy that it's never been reassessed or anything.
Wow. But see, it says it's up here, at least gives the square footage and 2.5 bathrooms, but there are no bedrooms.
But the square footage is 39.
But I mean, like, they're so inaccurate. I mean, there's no acres, no bedrooms, and I mean, like,
Lack of.
yeah, just don't go by that stuff. But it is good to get you started on this. So that gives you your legal description. FROR, first right of refusal. So if you had an offer on it, contingent on somebody selling their house or getting pre-approved or whatever, you would put that in there, and then you would type in the details of what it might be. So yes or no,
No, what is that again?
first right of refusal.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you, let's say Kara has a house for sale and it's 300,000, you bring a buyer, but they need to sell their house first. You negotiate a contract, Kara's clients accept it, so now you're under contract, but it's contingent on your client selling. So you have a first right of refusal. So
Okay.
it could be 24 hours or 48 hours. So now I bring somebody to Kara. We completely negotiate a contract. And once we agree on it, then Kara goes back to you and says, hey, I have one and you have 24 or 48 hours. Your people can either walk away and get their earnest money, or they can remove the contingency and just move forward. So that's kind of what that is. We don't see that very much right now because nobody's taking contingencies. Yeah, but that's what that is. Non-owner occupied, if it was a tenant, you would put that there. Investment tenant options. So I don't know if you ever look at investment property for people. A lot of times there's a tenant in the house and they're like, no showings until accepted contract. You know, so, so sometimes that stuff comes into play. So here's your, just going on down, what else you fill in. We've got agency, and that's your service level. So you can be an agent or you can be a transaction broker for somebody. So, and that's, you just select which one you are. Your listing office, if you're listing it with somebody, like, let's say both of you are like, you're going to work with your husband, right?
Mhm.
So, you would probably put him as a co-listing agent, and again, his office would be the same. So sometimes people work with spouses, sometimes they have an assistant or a team. But yeah, so lockbox, I'm never quite sure why we have this, because we have showing instructions somewhere else and you would put the lockbox. So, don't usually see anybody fill anything in right there. So yeah, see our showing instructions down here. Lockbox, call first, call the agent, call the office, call the tenant, you might have a call center, appointments only. You can also, if you're using showing time, I had one recently that the listing agent had to be present at all showings. So, that's what, when you put in see remarks, there's more. But I will tell you, real estate agents notoriously do not read the remarks. So try not to have to do that. Try to put it in there as much as possible. If you have a security system, please note that.
I think I need to take showing time off because this man has become extremely, I mean, he built the house, he's lived there for 28 years. I think it's sinking in that he's really moving and he's become extremely cranky. Like I talked to the wife this morning and I said, is he gonna get out of the house when lookers come? And she's like, I don't know, Angela, he's like sleeping in a different bed now because he's just so angry. So I need to be able to tell we decided what we do is if he's down in this 3-car garage playing with tools, that I will tell a real estate agent she has to park in a certain place in the driveway. So if he comes out and sees a car there, he needs to just go back in his little garage. So I probably need to take showing time off.
You don't have to.
No.
Showing time allows you to either automatically approve showings, or you can literally, it notifies you and then you approve it. And you can say, let him know, or you can provide them with further instructions for
I
showing.
can type that in showing time, like where they have to park in the driveway.
Yeah, okay. There's a place for extra instructions. People don't necessarily look at it, but you still would get a notification and before you approve it, you can always text that person or something, extra instructions. You can also, on showing time, block off. Like if your seller's like, oh, we're home during the day, or we're busy 4 to 6, we'll need to be in the house, you can block off so that nobody can show in.
Where do I send all that out? Is it in here? Or do I have to create a showing time account or something?
There's an icon when you sign up.
But I thought that's where you asked to look at it.
If you don't have any listings, I'll have to go and look.
We don't have to, we can keep going.
I have played around with it before because like I said, I had somebody and I had to be present for all their showings. And so they only allowed showings between these hours. So I blocked everything off.
Okay.
So that they,
Yeah, I got it.
so because people get all upset. Well, I asked to show it. Well, so just block it off to begin with. And yeah, so remind me afterwards and we'll see if we can figure it out. I can't remember off the top of my head. So that was your showing instructions. Put as much information as you can. Code, this has to do with commissions and how it's paid. So typically 0 is no restrictions, and that normally means that you're paid equally. The listing agent and the buyer's agent will be paid equally. So then you have 51, and the seller has a right to sell without paying commission. I never see one of those. Trade only, never seen that one. And variable rate commission, used to see that when maybe the listing agent had cut her commission, and maybe she was, as a family friend or something, and they were only doing some less percentage. I mean, you do have somewhere else to put, like you're going to specify what the percentages are down here. So for buyer's agent, if it says not the same as theirs, then that's when you would use that variable commission. Questions about that? So y'all understand a sub-agent is another licensee who also represents. We don't really do sub-agents, so we don't put a commission rate in there for that. A lot of times now we're seeing the buyer's agent is not getting a full 3%, and particularly if it's a transaction broker. I've always done it the same, although when you think about it, transaction broker really isn't taking any of the responsibility and liability, so. And you as a listing agent probably end up taking that. So, I don't know, I've been thinking maybe I should change that. And again, this is not typically where I would put this remark about all property information. There's another place. It's under property details,
We can put it there.
where I tell people all info to be, this is where I would say all information to be verified by purchaser or purchaser's agent prior to offer. So that's where I make sure it's in that place. Let's go back up. So your agent remarks are where you would, where you're talking to the other agent. So like, again, put in there where they're supposed to park. Please park here for all showings. You know, please, you know, there's a security system, please, you know, there are pets in the house, please make sure the cats don't get out, or whatever, anything specific to that. Can also be like if you run out of space down here on your public remarks and your advertising remarks, you might put information in there. May also be where you put age of HVAC, roof, things like that. Really, if you just have run out down here. But this is your chance to talk directly to the other agents. And I always go and read that, especially now, you know, like taking offers till Friday night. All offers will be presented Friday at 5, you know, expect to have an answer by whatever. So that's, I always go to that immediately to see if somebody said we're only taking offers till a certain time. But that's your opportunity, so use it.
Can I type something in really fast?
Sure. I'll let you type whatever really fast, I don't forget. No, but that's, so Kara, have you started showing houses at all?
No.
Okay, so in our current market, we're seeing people, you know, like houses go on the market, goes on the market today, and they're like, oh, we're gonna wait until Sunday to look at offers, or we're gonna 24 hours and then we're gonna present offers. So you need to know that, to know how fast you absolutely have to get in there, because, you know, if they're like, we're presenting offers tonight, you know, if they're like, we're planning to hold till Sunday, then you're like, okay, I can breathe. But the reality is, good offer comes along, they may not wait. So,
What else did you say? Can't remember what else we were talking about.
okay. There's somebody in the waiting room. I need to let her in. I'm so bad about not letting people in. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. We're going over a listing of Angela's, and so we're kind of typing it in. So she just added some stuff. So I'm a little paranoid that stuff happens. So I'm going to go ahead and save it as a partial listing.
Did happen one day. I was like,
Why, so why is it a partial listing?
because it hasn't been, it's not active yet.
Right. So a partial listing is it's not active. She's not finished putting all the information in. If you go in and start, there's a provisional, which is very similar, but this allows her to not have everything. Like say she doesn't have her room measurements, or
I'm waiting right now. I keep looking. My photographer was supposed to get me the pictures by 11.
yeah.
Maybe.
So some key information that she needs, one of these R boxes, maybe she doesn't have the information for that. Maybe the seller hasn't agreed on the price yet, and she's typed everything in. So you can't do anything but a partial at that point.
So once it goes active, are you allowed to edit it or no?
You can, but there's some stuff you don't want to edit, you know, so like price, I mean, because if you change the price, then you're gonna have to do more paperwork. And if you raise the price, then umpteen red flags are going off with people.
So
So
if you lower the price, but you have to do more paperwork.
There's a listing change notice.
Really? Never even heard of it.
Yeah, so, well, we don't see that too much right now.
Well, yeah,
But it used to be a really big deal about, but it's, I'm trying to think, there is a form strictly, and there's some other information on there, but really the only time anybody uses it is if they're reducing the price, changing the price kind of thing. Or it also is the same form that you would use if they're extending the listing. Say it's been on MLS for 6 months and it hasn't sold, and they're gonna extend it, same thing, same form. So, yeah, one of the key things that you absolutely have to have for a listing before you go active is a picture. So that's,
and this, I mean, it's raining for, all of her pictures have been backed up. Yesterday, she just barely got it done before downpour again, so.
so I frequently, because I use Coming Soon a lot, will go and take a frontal picture, just one frontal picture of the house, so I have something to start advertising it's coming soon. And a lot of times we use Coming Soon when we stick the sign in the yard, right before they go to take the pictures. So they know something's coming, and this is kind of what it looks like, so that's good.
See, I have one picture of the front that I use like to put on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, this might be it. This is it. Let me see what she says.
Cheers,
I
pictures.
was gonna have you help.
Yeah.
She says you should have them in 30 minutes.
Okay. But yeah, so that's why you might want to do it partial. Let's see.
So, okay, back to what I was saying. So I have one picture, it's not the greatest picture, but I have one picture that I took on a very cloudy day this week, because I was thinking maybe I should just put that picture in today, because I really wanted it to go active at like 12 o'clock. And,
I don't think I would just wait.
Okay.
If she,
yeah,
I mean, you can slide in that first picture really quick and easy, that frontal, and then you can work on, and I'm kind of weird about pictures. The way you can see over here when you add pictures, look at listings, people put houses up, and like when I see pictures of a house, I want to see the front of the house. If that's not the first picture, I'm immediately thinking there's something wrong. And then basically I want to see like I'm walking through the house.
right.
What do you see when you walk in the front door? You know, whatever that is, you know, and then the public rooms, and then the master, and then you go to the other bedrooms. I hate when there's a bathroom thrown randomly in there. I'm like,
Yeah, some of them are just done, just.
Random.
Sit there and wonder, what
Why
are
do
you thinking?
Laundry room.
you know, you're
Yeah.
trying to get a flow of the house and get a feel for how it goes, and they're just like, and they take pictures, and it's basically the ceiling, you know, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't really care about that, you know.
Right.
So, anyway, I'm kind of funny about that, but probably because of who I work for, she pretty much preached that into us, but, so here you have agent remarks, which I kind of explained about that. Public media remarks. So you cannot put any branding or self-promotion in this field. So this is what goes on our MLS. So that's your description. That's your, you know, advertising, why they want to see this house, what makes it special. But your advertising remarks.
I don't know, that copied down there the other day, and I forgot.
Automatically?
Yeah, and I forgot to take it out.
Huh.
It just, boom, it just went down there.
Usually it doesn't, but this
Take that out.
this advertising remark goes to all those third-party sites, you know, Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, everywhere else it goes. And so you want your information. So the very first thing up here should be call Lisa, 662-312-4661, call Angela, call Kara, whatever, get your information in there first, and then describe the house. So,
And also about the open house and stuff would be in there?
yes, and that was the next thing I was gonna say. And if you're doing an open house, that needs to be the first thing also.
So you, up in the public, you cannot put branding, but in the
Correct.
advertising, you do put branding.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And if you can't remember, just click over here and it tells you, like here it says that you add your contact information, and here it says, do not enter any branding or self-promotion in this field. So,
Yeah, I remember that. And like I said, I don't know why I just forgot to.
and just like your pictures, can't have your sign in the yard.
Really?
Nope.
But that's advertising.
But once the pictures go on here, that's MLS owns those pictures, so you can't. Yeah, I mean, that used to be a really, really big deal. They'll fine you for it. So, and I don't know, there are people out there who apparently have nothing else to do. So, but yeah, so that's the big difference between public remarks and advertising remarks.
Take those out. Can you just,
All of this?
yeah, because. It'll be on there.
Okay.
I might have to go back.
And I tell people, this is a lot more characters than we used to have. We used to get not nearly that much. But I tell people when you have an overzealous seller and they're like, oh, they want to give you all this information. We have X amount of characters, not even words, characters that we can use.
She gave me 2 notebook pages.
Yeah, yeah.
My beautiful. I'm like, oh my God.
No, it's not gonna work.
That's gonna be a topic, that's gonna be,
It is.
you know, I was telling my husband last night, and it kind of reminds us of what his parents are going through right now.
Oh, yeah.
They've been in their farmhouse forever.
It's
Yeah.
hard. He won't even look at me anymore. I was over there all day Sunday packing boxes and Tuesday I was over there pressure washing the front porch because, long story, he acts like he's pissed off at me. Like he is mad at the world. He's sleeping in another bedroom upstairs.
That's all he's known for.
He is hurt. And
Many
plus that
years.
3-car garage is nothing but tools and car parts. I said, what's that stuff? get
Do
you
they
from?"
know where they're gonna go?
They bought land and he's supposedly gonna build them another house.
Okay.
He's 78.
So you haven't filled this in?
What is it?
Owner information?
It should, does it not say?
Nope.
I'll do that. since we finish mine.
Yeah, so you put, well, you can just tell me what's the last name?
Mulligan,
What?
Mullican, Mullican.
Okay, and Joe was the first name?
Yeah. Rhonda and Joe Mulligan. What else? do you need?
Okay, so used to, and in some states, the way they schedule showings is they have to call the owner. So, we would have an owner's phone number in there. I don't see that very much anymore, and typically, for a while, it got to be, like I said, I worked for an agent for a long time, and she, like if a house didn't sell and it was gonna expire or be withdrawn, that was the first thing we did, was go in and erase the phone number. Because those people don't want to be hounded by somebody else, calling us expires.
I know, I have a question really fast.
Okay.
I put that in the other day and then I printed off the sheet to look at it and it says on the actual MLS form their names. You don't want that on there, do you?
Because somebody's gonna fill out a contract and it's gonna have their information. And not everybody will go to the trouble to look it up in the tax records.
I was like, I don't want people like stalking my owners. Okay, so I did, I had it there and I
Yeah.
took it out.
No,
Okay.
we want it there.
Okay,
So it is occupied. It's not a foreclosure. It's not a short sale. They're not gonna lease it. You can put the builder's name down. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. It's not an owner's association. If it was, then you would have to fill out the name of the association, who the contact is, the phone number, the fees, and the terms like monthly, quarterly, yearly. It's funny, you can mark this here, but I know other places it automatically assumes it's quarterly. I mean, I don't know, some of those sites it populates too, so then it's kind of weird, but. So that's all about the homeowners association. Is there a maintenance fee? Is it a gated community? Okay, now you're getting to IDX. Yes, you want it to go to IDX. Yes, you want it to be syndicated to all those other sites. You want it to be on the internet. You want the address to apply, to display, sorry. And VOW, yes, is a virtual office website. If you answer yes to allow AVM, you are saying that your listing can be included in an automated valuation on VOW. I usually say no.
okay.
Okay. I don't really know that it makes any difference, because I don't really want somebody else pulling comps or giving page for it, you know,
Okay.
whether, I think that's a personal preference thing, up to you though.
Yeah, I think Nina told me to, yeah, but I'm with you.
I,
Keep it in a,
and I never allow third party comments. I don't ever want anybody else to comment.
yeah, that's weird.
That seems pretty obvious to me, but, anyway. So then you're just coming down to property details, and I'm gonna kind of scroll through here super quick because don't have a lot of time. You know, is it handicap accessible inside, outside, special needs? So any special features, wide doors, stall doors, chairlift, elevators, those kind of things. If you happen to have a house with that in it, please go in and make sure you mark it. Some people are searching for those specific things, and realtors notoriously don't. And so another agent can't search for those things. I actually showed a house, elevator, but the only place that noted that was in the remarks. So my buyers didn't care one way or the other, but anyway. So schools, you need to check the schools, be sure they're in there. Square footage, which is required. The big thing is, what's your square footage source? And you have to mark one of these. And I believe you can't just mark C remarks anymore. So you either have to have had an appraisal or a certified measure out there. Don't know what a survey would have to do with the square footage, but realtor measured, plans and specs. So you just need to, if nothing else, you need to go out there and measure it yourself. In this current market, I mean, you're just leaving money on the table if you don't have an accurate square footage, and you're setting yourself up for it. I had one about 3 years ago. These people fell in love with the house. They absolutely loved it. Had the buyers. It was a very unique home. Pizza oven inside. They had done a lot. Appraisal comes back $50,000 short. I mean, like, and this is before we got crazy about, 50, it may have been more than 50,000. Well, the square footage was off by 500 square feet.
Wow.
It was like, they gave them a good price per square foot, but the house was 500 square feet smaller than they had on MLS and everything.
Wow.
So it was like, and the deal in the end did not go through. My people were willing to still buy it. They just asked for, it was an older home and they wanted the wiring. These people, they're like, nope, we're not budging off that price, and we're not going to do anything with the wiring. I'm thinking, you're crazy. Your house is 500 square feet off. So it's really important. It sets your sellers up for disappointment if the square footage is off short of what they think it is, and it leaves money on the table if it's more. But the reality is, an appraiser's going to come in, and they're not all going to be the same. 10 appraisers are all going to get a different number, but they should be pretty close, So you can break down by first level, second level, unfinished square footage, basement square footage. I think this is really important. I can't tell you how many times I have people walk in and try to walk off a garage to see if it's big enough for what they want. So that's really nice that you have the square footage in there. Or the dimensions, one or the other is super nice. Then you're just describing the property. This is all about the garages and carports, and there are so many choices here, from no garage, front entry, side entry, carport, attached, detached. But then you've got door opener, workshop, so lots of options. Select them. Again, I have people that specifically want a 2-car, 3-car garage, so I'm searching for those features sometimes. So mark it. Is there a view, the age of the house, construction status, tax amount, and that's for last year, tax year bill. Those are pretty self-explanatory. We don't really see this very much. Third-party certifications. If it's a mostly like if it's green kind of things, if they've done something like this. So if you have it, definitely make note of it. Directions are important. Sometimes people give a couple of different ways. If you're thinking about, especially in town, if there's more than one way to get to a house, drive them and see which one looks nicer. Because you might not want to see them every way. Sometimes, neighborhoods adjoin, and sometimes the adjoining neighborhood maybe is not as nice. So just gonna say that. Let's see. I'm gonna skip room features for a minute. You have auction details. We aren't really doing that right now. We're typically not adding virtual tours. Used to be, that was a really big deal. Now homes, it's just not worth it for the most part to spend the money to get a virtual tour because they're selling quickly. So I'm gonna go skip room information. It's somewhat self-explanatory how many rooms there are, bathrooms, foyer, laundry room, those don't count in your rooms. We're talking bedrooms, living spaces,
Did you say
kitchen.
bathrooms don't count?
Bathrooms do not count in.
Well, then I'm in trouble.
In room
because
total.
I think it counted everything.
Yeah, bathrooms do not count in room totals.
Okay, then I need to change that.
So, and then it gets tricky when you're searching for houses. People want 3 bathrooms. Well, they may want 3 full bathrooms, but it looks at this. So then you got to break it down by half, 3/4, etc. This is important too, the number of bedrooms on each level. And then it just goes in, hit the main rooms. You definitely want those. Even though we don't count bathrooms in the room total, you may have option to put a glamour bath in and describe it. If it's a really cool bathroom, you might want to do that. So you're going to give your dimensions, the room level, if it's first level, second level, basement, whatever. The other thing is descriptions. So there are everything you can think of. So if you, is the ceiling smooth? Is it 9-foot ceilings? Is it a vaulted ceiling? Is it more than 9-foot ceiling? Is it carpet, wood floor, tile, crown molding, ceiling fan, walk-in closet? All of those things, if you think there's something of note, an isolated master, start typing it in. It may be. There used to be, I'm not sure there still is, like a place, window coverings, and like chair rail and wainscoting. So those used to be things that were on there. I don't think those are there anymore.
I think chair rail was on there.
Wainscoting still is there. So yeah, but those are things to note. But see, like 12-foot ceilings, 10+ ceilings, if there's a bay window, double vanity, granite cap, lots of options. So just, I hate to see one that has no information. I mean, and I know that's the easy way and houses are selling quickly, but the more information we can give our buyers, then the better prepared they are when they get to the house. This makes me go back, talking about showing time. You can actually set the length of the appointments.
Yeah, because I've been looking at houses.
So some people only let you go in for 15 minutes. That is insane. If it's a bigger than 1,000 square foot house, that is just not enough room, not enough time. You can select if there's a whirlpool tub, if there's a separate shower. So all of those are options. So I'm going to skip down here to features. So now it takes everything that you just put in on those rooms and everything up, and that's all. It's all right there. But then it asks you some other things like, what style home is this? Is this a 2-story home? Is it a ranch home? Is it a tri-level home? Contemporary? And you can check more than one. Used to, we could only check one, so you had to pick what it was. So
I didn't know what to put. It's not really Victorian.
probably
It's just a country. It's a
traditional.
2-story country.
You
I
could
guess.
just select
Yeah,
traditional. Yeah. But yeah, so, and then like it had on there for our end unit, if it's a condo, so lots of things. The type construction, is it brick, is it stucco? a manufactured home, although, okay, I'm gonna go back on the manufacturer. So select what type construction that is. If you go back here, and I completely skipped this. Type home up here, because we did dates, and I skipped over this one, type of home. So it can be a townhouse, a single family home, investment property, a farm home, a condo. But you see that manufactured home right there? People don't mark that, because nobody wants a manufactured home there. I mean, like, they'll put it down there on construction, but they don't mark it here. So I just think that's interesting. Because a lot of times I will, like when I'm doing a search, I will, because sometimes people don't want a condo or a townhome, so I only do single family detached. And then I figured out, oh, I need to go in and say not manufactured homes sometimes. Let's see. So I was down here on the features. So there's a lot more in here. So the construction, what type structure? Is it a crawl space or is it a basement or a slab? So what is that? Do you know?
It's a crawl space.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark that. Let's save it. Okay. So then what kind of water and sewer does it have? So does it have public water?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, and it has a septic tank. So, and again, some people get all freaked out about septic tanks. So then it gives you options to fill out for your heat and your air conditioning. And so you can pick the number of units and the type. Is it electric or gas? So, and same thing on your air conditioning. I wish gas, electric, window units, number. Kind of wish they would give you an option there to put in an age if you do it. That's what people want all the time. If you have fireplaces, how many you have, what type they are, wood burning, gas, whatever. And then appliances that are to remain. So there's a long list of things. It has a built-in refrigerator. We don't see very many central vacs anymore. Doesn't have a disposal. Double oven, if the dryer and the washer stay. Cooktop. It has a cooktop. Does it have an oven?
Yeah.
Okay, it's down there. Yeah. Okay. Gas water heater, ice machine. I have seen a couple of odd ones, like if it has a security system, here's where you put that. Where people put stuff in there and I'm thinking, why is that in there? That seems obvious. But yeah, so that information is important in case somebody's leaving a refrigerator and really needs a fridge or a washer dryer or something. Selling terms, obviously everything's available for cash, right? Conventional, pretty typical. FHA and VA require more stringent inspections sometimes, and sometimes we know won't pass those, and so you might not select those on there. I will tell you, I've said this before, I'll say it all day long, realtors do not read. They don't read, and they don't search and eliminate the way they could do it. So, I mean, I've had houses, people looking for a house and they're like, and then you get there or you pull it up to schedule an appointment and you're like, oh, well, you're going to do FHA, this house won't pass, so it just be aware if you have somebody, look to see if they mark that or not. And the type of fencing they have. So privacy, chain link, just whatever they have. There are a couple other things. I'm trying to see if I can find those. There are deed restrictions, outbuildings, things like that. There are smart features. Now, I don't know where this is. There used to be And did I scroll past this? Like outdoor features.
Yeah, that's on there. Does it, are like deck and all that stuff, covered patio?
Right, where is that?
She sent me my picture, so I just paid for it.
So where I was going with that, there is a place, and I can't find it now. There it is, outdoor, underwater properties, all the things that could be out there. So your patio, your deck, front porch, covered porch, screen lot. Then there's some other things that are like probably curbs and gutters, sidewalks, underground utilities, sprinkler system. What kind of drive does it have? Is it gravel, concrete, dirt, circular, cul-de-sac, corner lot? But here's a big one, storm shelter. Please, if it has a storm shelter, mark that. That is huge. People come and they really want storm shelters, and realtors almost never check that box. So just be aware that it's there. And therefore, if you can select it, you can search that way. If you have somebody that only wants something that has storm shelters, you can search that way, but realtors don't always mark it. So, but yeah, so, and again, you have the option, if you want to save it, you can save a listing. We marked it as active, but we're saving this as a partial listing. And then you have the option to continue to input, or if you're through, you can finish it. It says you have 255 months before it's removed from the system, which would be what, 20 something years, 25 years? Like, anyway, I'm not going to be selling real estate for 25 years. Well, I don't think so. I might, I doubt it. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. Anybody have questions? Kara? No. Any of you in Zoom land have questions?
Hi, I did have a question. If a house has a large open floor plan for the kitchen, dining, and living area, is that 3 rooms or 1 room?
I still do it three rooms because you want to kind of give them some dimensions of those rooms. And usually you can kind of see some break points, but you want them to count to see that it has all those options. So yeah, I would count it as 3 rooms.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Her pictures are fabulous.
I
Compared.
put my questions in the chat.
Oh, wow. That means I have to find the chat box then, doesn't it? Okay, y'all, somebody help me find the chat box in here.
Should be able to go over to the
Here,
orange
here it
menu
is.
there, all the way at the top.
There it is.
Click on
Sorry. There really isn't about clarification on styles of houses. You just kind of, I mean, I would say most realtors don't really pay a whole lot of attention to that. It's more like tri-level. I think it's just easier when somebody realizes right up front it's a tri-level, that, you know, that you're gonna come in, you're gonna have an up and a down kind of thing. So I don't know of anywhere that there is that really describes those. So sorry, not much help on that. Let's see. Best way to measure a room. So I use tape measures. I also have a laser measure. I use both of those. I'm a little old school, so I probably like the tape measure in person. Probably also because my family likes to use my laser measure as a toy for the animals, and I can't ever find it when I need it. And why are bathrooms not included in the total number of rooms? I don't really know why that is. I just know they aren't. Not real sure why that is. Okay, Lisa also asked about the difference between public and advertising remarks. I think maybe you came in right after we talked about that. If you click on the little magnifying glass beside it, it explains. The big deal is that public remarks go to on our MLS. And so that's your description of the house. Advertising remarks will go out to all those third-party sites like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, everywhere. And so out there, we're allowed to put our branding information, but on MLS, we are not. So it tells you that in public remarks, you can't have any branding, but on advertising remarks, you can. So that's kind of the big difference. And I always put the first thing in the advertising remarks is my name and phone number. You know, call Lisa at da-da-da to see, you know, or whatever. And also put open house there as the beginning too. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's pretty much it then, okay?
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming, and let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm always happy to answer later, okay?
Okay, once you get these pictures and it says that I'm waiting on a download, do you know how long that takes?
It depends on the computer. That's it, everybody. We'll see y'all next time.
So she did this in the pouring rain and she's got a big blue